I said, "A cowboy will win your heart one day." She whispered, "I'd rather it be a blacksmith." The sun had barely climbed over the rolling hills when a single sentence changed 2 lives forever. What began as a light-hearted remark at a crowded country fair became a promise neither person understood at the time. Years later, when storms of loss, pride, and unexpected hope swept through their quiet valley, those forgotten words would return with a meaning far greater than anyone could have imagined. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of hope, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to the channel Heartwarming Tales for more inspiring stories. The peaceful village of Ashbrook was known for its wide green meadows, horse ranches, and annual harvest festival that drew visitors from neighboring counties. Most people dreamed of becoming skilled ranchers or fearless riders, and every child grew up admiring the cowboys who raced across the open fields with effortless confidence. Among them lived a thoughtful young blacksmith apprentice named Corwin Hale. While others chased applause in dusty rodeos, Corwin spent his days beside a glowing forge, shaping horseshoes, repairing farm tools, and crafting beautiful ironwork that quietly served the entire community. His hands were rough, his clothes often carried the scent of coal and fire, but his heart remained remarkably gentle. Across the village lived a cheerful schoolteacher named Mireya Rowan. She believed every child deserved encouragement, every elderly neighbor deserved company, and every struggling family deserved a helping hand. Her kindness was admired by everyone, yet she often joked that her adventurous spirit belonged on horseback crossing endless plains. During one lively harvest celebration, while watching talented riders compete beneath bright blue skies, Corwin smiled and casually remarked that someday a cowboy would surely win her heart. Mireya laughed softly, her eyes drifting toward the distant blacksmith shop where sparks floated into the afternoon air like tiny stars. Almost without thinking, she whispered that she would rather it be a blacksmith. Neither of them realized those simple words would linger in memory long after the music faded. Life, however, rarely follows the path people imagine. Only a few months later, a devastating drought settled over Ashbrook. Crops failed, ranchers struggled to feed their animals, and many families considered leaving the valley forever. The rodeos stopped, visitors disappeared, and cheerful laughter became increasingly rare. While many businesses closed their doors, Corwin refused to abandon his forge. Instead of charging families who could barely afford food, he quietly repaired broken equipment for little or no payment, believing that helping farms survive mattered more than earning money. His workshop became a place of quiet hope. Farmers arrived carrying cracked plows, bent gates, and broken wagon wheels. They left with repaired tools and renewed determination. Corwin accepted homemade bread, baskets of vegetables, or even simple words of gratitude instead of coins whenever necessary. Few people noticed the sacrifices he made because he never spoke about them. Meanwhile, Mireya faced her own challenges. Funding for the village school nearly disappeared, forcing teachers to buy supplies from their own savings. Several children stopped attending classes because they needed to help their parents survive the difficult season. Watching bright young minds lose opportunities broke her heart, yet she refused to surrender. She transformed lessons into outdoor activities, gathered donated books, and personally visited families to encourage children to continue learning whenever possible. The hardships slowly revealed the true character of both Corwin and Mireya. Neither sought recognition. They simply kept choosing kindness, one day at a time. As months passed, rumors spread that a wealthy developer intended to purchase much of Ashbrook's farmland to build luxury vacation properties. Many exhausted landowners, overwhelmed by debt, considered accepting the offers. The thought of their beloved village disappearing filled everyone with uncertainty. Longtime neighbors argued, friendships became strained, and hope seemed to fade with every passing week. Instead of accepting defeat, Corwin quietly organized local craftsmen, carpenters, and mechanics to repair abandoned barns, irrigation systems, and community buildings free of charge. His belief was simple: if the village looked alive again, perhaps people would remember why it deserved saving. Inspired by his determination, Mireya organized community reading days, charity markets, and family festivals that reminded everyone of the joy they had nearly forgotten. Children painted colorful signs celebrating Ashbrook's history while grandparents shared stories of generations who had overcome hardships before them. Slowly, the empty streets filled once again with smiles and conversation. The greatest turning point arrived when a violent summer storm threatened to destroy the valley's only wooden bridge connecting several farms to the town center. Without hesitation, dozens of villagers rushed into the rain. Corwin worked tirelessly through the storm, using his strength and skill to reinforce damaged metal supports while others carried lumber and supplies. Mireya coordinated volunteers, comforted frightened children, and ensured every elderly resident reached safety before floodwaters rose. By sunrise, the bridge still stood. Exhausted but grateful, the entire village gathered beneath clear skies. For the first time in many months, people saw not individual struggles but a united community that had survived together. They realized Ashbrook's greatest strength had never been its ranches or harvest festivals. It had always been its people. The developer soon returned expecting desperate landowners ready to sell. Instead, he found neighbors rebuilding homes together, children laughing outside the restored school, farmers sharing equipment, and craftsmen donating their talents without expecting reward. Witnessing such remarkable unity, he quietly withdrew his proposal, admitting that some places possessed a value no amount of money could purchase. Weeks later, another harvest festival finally returned to Ashbrook. The music echoed across the fields once again, horses galloped proudly, and families celebrated a future they had nearly lost. Yet the loudest applause did not belong to the fastest riders. It belonged to ordinary people whose quiet courage had preserved everything they loved. Standing near the familiar blacksmith shop where glowing sparks once again danced into the afternoon sky, Mireya reflected on the years that had transformed them both. She remembered that playful conversation from long ago and smiled warmly. The cowboy had represented excitement, adventure, and distant dreams. But the blacksmith had represented something far stronger: steady hands, dependable character, patient sacrifice, and unwavering compassion. Those qualities had rebuilt not only a village but countless hearts. Corwin never sought praise or recognition. His greatest reward was seeing children run safely across the repaired bridge, hearing laughter return to the schoolyard, and watching neighbors greet one another with renewed hope. Mireya understood that true love, whether for a person or a community, is rarely built through grand gestures. It is forged day after day through kindness, faithfulness, and quiet acts of service. Special request: if this story touched your heart, comment below with "Kindness builds forever." If this story inspired you or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales so more people can discover stories that bring hope and encouragement. Sometimes the strongest hearts are not found beneath wide-brimmed hats racing across open fields. Sometimes they are found beside a humble forge, patiently shaping broken things until they become useful again. Life has a beautiful way of revealing that lasting happiness is not built on excitement alone but on compassion, perseverance, and the courage to keep serving others even when no one is watching. And when kindness becomes the fire that shapes our lives, every challenge can become the beginning of a brighter tomorrow.